It's easy to feel like there's just no alternative to the way things are. It's a pretty common feeling. But what if I told you there are some really powerful, well-thought-out visions for a different future? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into one of those visions. It comes from sociologist Dr. S A Hamed Hosseini's paper, Toward a Commonist Future. We're going to unpack a whole new way of thinking about value, about community, and most importantly, about how we can actually make change happen. So let's get right into it. All right, here's our roadmap. We'll start by looking at what the paper calls our crisis of value. Then we'll get into the real heart of the idea, the difference between true value and fetish value, and this amazing process called commoning. After that, we'll see how capitalism messes all that up. And then, the good part, we'll talk about the way forward, a strategy called recommonization, and what building a communist future could actually look like. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about this crisis of value. What's really at the root of so many of the problems we're facing today? Dr. Hosseini starts with something we all feel in our bones, right? This quote just nails it. We see it in the news every single day. Fires, floods, communities struggling. The symptoms are absolutely everywhere. But what if these aren't just a bunch of separate, random problems? This is where the paper makes a huge leap. It argues that the real root cause isn't just bad policies or greedy CEOs. It's something much, much deeper. It's about our fundamental definition of value, what we as a society decide is important, what's worth protecting. And here's the kicker. What if our definition is just completely broken? And that question, it leads us straight to the central idea in this whole theory. It's this massive clash between two totally different ways of seeing the world and what matters in it. So, on one side, you've got true value. This is the stuff that actually matters for life to continue and to flourish. We're talking clean water, healthy soil, strong communities, taking care of each other. Then, on the other side, you have fetish value. This is the only kind of value the market really understands. Anything that can have a price tag slapped on it, that can be owned, bought, sold, and piled up for profit, even if it destroys the very foundations of life. And this example just makes it so incredibly clear. Think about a river. From a true value point of view, it's a living, breathing ecosystem. It gives us water to drink, it has cultural importance, it protects us from floods. But when you look at it through the lens of fetish value, it's just a revenue stream, a way to make money from bottling water or generating power. And you know the result, right? The profits might go up, but the river itself just dies. So that raises a pretty big question. If fetish value is cooked up by the market, where does true value actually come from? Well, according to Dr. Hosseini, the answer is a process he calls commoning. Now, commoning might sound a little academic, but stick with me because it's actually a beautiful and, honestly, a very natural idea. It's basically the active, hands-on process of working together to create and take care of the things that all of us need to live well. It's about mirroring how life itself works, through give and take, through fixing what's broken, and understanding that there are limits. To really get this, the paper uses some incredible analogies from the natural world. First, think about a forest. It's not just a bunch of trees competing for sunlight. They're actually connected underground by this massive fungal network, the Wood Wide Web, and they use it to share nutrients and even warn each other about dangers. Now that is commoning in action. It's a system built on mutual support. Or how about a coral reef? It's this incredible structure built by millions of tiny organisms working together. In a reef, one creature's waste is another's food. Its immense diversity is what makes it so resilient. It's all about shared building, shared upkeep, and shared benefit. And my personal favorite analogy is the beaver. Beavers are incredible ecosystem engineers. They build a dam, they create a wetland, a commons, and that commons then becomes a thriving home for countless other species who all contribute to its upkeep. See? Commoning isn't just about using a shared resource. It's about actively creating and caring for it, together. So if commoning is this amazing life-generating process, then what's the problem? What stops it? The paper argues that capitalism is basically a system of decommonization. It's a process that systematically attacks and dismantles these shared, living systems for the sake of profit. And to break down exactly how this dismantling works, the paper uses a really cool framework borrowed from the ancient philosopher Aristotle. It's called the 4 causes. It just asks 4 simple questions about any process. Who makes it? What's it made of? How is it organized? And what's the ultimate purpose? First up, the efficient cause. Who or what does the making? In commoning, value comes from this incredible collaboration between people and nature. But capitalism perverts this. It takes that shared creativity, reduces it to labor that can be bought and sold, and then it fences off our shared knowledge as private intellectual property. Second, the material cause. What is it made of? True value is made of livability. It's made of healthy, thriving ecosystems. Capitalism sees something totally different. It sees a mechanical nature, a collection of passive resources just waiting to be extracted. It turns a living forest into timber and a living river into megawatt hours. Third, we have the formal cause. How is it all organized? Well, commoning is organized around something called conviviality, which is just a great word for living well together, for interdependence and care. Capitalism completely shreds that. It replaces it with market logic, creating this huge gap between the people who make things and the people who use them, leaving us all feeling disconnected. And finally, the big one, the final cause. What is it all for? What's the goal? The goal of commoning is something the paper calls alterity. It's not some fixed destination, but a constant, adaptive process of creating well-being for all. But capitalism, it has only one relentless goal: maximizing profit. Endless accumulation, no matter the cost. Okay, so that's the diagnosis of the problem. But here's where it gets really hopeful. If the problem is decommonization, then the solution, logically, has to be recommonization. It's about consciously and actively rebuilding our commons, from the ground right on up. And the strategy to get there is so smart. It's called a two-handed approach. With one hand, you're on the ground, building real-world alternatives right here, right now. Think of things like worker co-ops, community gardens, or neighborhood tool libraries. But with the other hand, you're building the political muscle to protect those little experiments, to fight for policies that help them grow and connect with each other. You need both. So this brings us to our final piece of the puzzle. What does building this commonist future actually look like in the real world? What's the blueprint? This isn't just some vague, fuzzy dream. It means pushing for very specific, concrete changes. Things like legally recognizing the rights of nature, so a corporation can't just destroy a river for profit. It means decommodifying the things we all need to live, like housing, food, and water, so they're treated as human rights, not just assets for investors. It means getting land back into community hands, dismantling corporate power, and freeing up our shared knowledge by getting rid of things like intellectual property. These are big, bold moves. And this quote right here, this is the whole point. This is the psychological shift we need. The power of this approach is that it fights that feeling of hopelessness. Because when you see a thriving community garden or a successful worker-owned business, you can't help it. The narrative in your head starts to change from, there is no alternative, to, wait a second, we're already building it. So, in the end, the paper flips the whole script on us. It suggests that the alternatives aren't something out there that we need to wait for someone else to create. The alternatives are us. We are the ones who can start commoning right now in our own lives and communities. And so it leaves us with this final, really provocative question. Are you ready to be part of it?